welcome to the Holistic Health and Hormones podcast. I'm Ellie Huang, your guide to unlocking the secrets of vibrant health and balanced hormones. Together, we'll explore empowering strategies, holistic healing modalities, expert insights, and client stories to help you reclaim your vitality and live in harmony with your body. Whether you're navigating the journey of motherhood, seeking natural solutions, or striving for optimal well-being and wanting to live a long and healthy life, you're in the right place. Let's embark on this transformative journey to health, healing, and happiness, one mindful step at a time. Ready? Let's dive in. Do you want more joy in your life? Are you doing the right self-care practices to really nourish your soul, to thrive and live a life full of vitality? In today's conversation, we speak to transformational expert Linda about what we can do in terms of self-care, holistic practices to really live our best life. This is going to be an exciting conversation. Let's jump in. Hello, I'm so excited to have Linda Joy BENN join us today. So, Linda is an international speaker. She's a trainer, coach, and founder of the BENN Method. She's based in Brisbane and she guides highly achieving professionals to transform their lives by connecting with their purpose, aligning their souls, and reclaiming their mojoy. With the last 30 years of experience in holistic health and healing, she's overcome a lot of personal challenges, including cancer, chronic fatigue, autoimmune, adrenal burnout, eating disorders, all without Western medical interventions. And these profound experiences have inspired the creation of her BENN Method, an advanced self-care methodology for the soul that restores balance, energy, nurture, and nourishment at the deepest levels. Her intuitive coaching empowers individuals to achieve soul alignment through advanced care practices, helping them heal at the root level and to thrive in all aspects of their lives. The BENN Method provides a powerful framework for breaking free from all the stress, overwhelm, and disconnection, and enabling her clients to connect with their inner wisdom and achieve holistic well-being, and in remembering to embrace the soul's mission of achieving success in all of their career. She has the privilege of interviewing thought leaders like Dr. Phil, discussing mind-body connection and the transformative impact of holistic wellness. She runs workshops, retreats, and global teaching engagements and has helped thousands of individuals to heal, grow, and create lives with vitality and purpose. So, welcome, Linda. You've gone through a lot. So, thank you for being on the
Thank
podcast.
you.
We've known each other for a little while now, Linda and I, haven't
Uh,
we?
Thank you so much for having me, Ali. Great to be here on your podcast.
That's all
Ali,
right. Yeah. So tell me a little bit basically about sort of your personal story. Seems like you have gone through a lot with your health, and a lot of the clients listening will be wanting to know sort of how did you overcome that whole list of whole list of what we call Western diseases, or I guess, things that could be debilitating and chronic immune, problems with all natural healing. I'm sure the listeners would
yeah.
love to know what your journey's been like and what led you to the creation of the BENN Method.
So I'll fast forward to when I met my spiritual teacher, which was back in 1990. I was traveling, backpacking around the world, 21, and I was diagnosed with cancer. And it was serendipitous that a lady I met said, "Oh, I've found out that there's a really good psychic in San Jose, California. Would you like to come with me?" I was in San Francisco. I went, absolutely. We both went because she was quite skeptical. And it's like, "I'll come with you." And after the reading, Dale gave me his card and he said, "I don't normally do this, but it's got my home phone number on it. Call me." Now, the lady I was with, she had no idea about my story or that I had cancer. And I left
Mm.
Australia because it's like, I got to get out of here. And there was a lot of emotional pain that I had pushed down. And so, in my conversations and everything that I learned from Dale, because from then that just opened up a whole Pandora's box and we went deep. and he helped me to understand why I created the cancer in my body, which was
Yeah.
all the unresolved emotional issues that I had pushed down because of my traumatic childhood and all the abuse. And I didn't understand why my family didn't like me or love me or understand me. I felt ostracized, unloved, like all of that. But he helped me to have a different perspective, that I chose my family as a soul. We all are playing really important roles,
Yeah.
and also the mind body spirit connection, and understanding what my role in this life was and my purpose. So really that's what not only helped me to heal the cancer at the time, but put me on my path of holistic health and healing. Because from there, that's when I started studying, and I was always interested and curious about, any psychic tools and personal development. And even from the age of 17, when I joined an MLM company, it was all heavily personal development and goal setting, and I loved it. And so that set the foundation. But yeah, emotionally, deep down, yeah, I was in a lot of emotional pain. And so leaving Australia and going on a 3-year walkabout was my way of escaping. In that walkabout, I met Dale right at the beginning. And so that just helped to set me up for a whole life of self-discovery. And then from there, that's when I started my business, and from body work, energy work, to healing, to psychic tools, to NLP and timeline therapy and hypnotherapy, and then became a certified trainer, and then another healing modality in 2004, which is Palawa healing, which shifts consciousness, expands awareness, and connects all 12 strands of DNA. As soon as I was attuned to that, that just opened me up psychically, intuitively, just took it to a whole nother level. So all the body work and energy work that I was doing prior to that, that just opened me up.
Mm.
And I was just channeling these profound messages for clients and being able to heal things that no one else was able to do, and all these other practitioners. And it was like, this is easy. So then I was just empowering my clients. You can heal your own body, and then teaching them how, and empowering them really about believing that, yeah, we all have the ability to heal our own body. We all are powerful, multidimensional beings. And the only thing that stops us is the limiting
Yeah, belief.
mindset and those beliefs and the stories that we tell ourselves. So back then, all through 2010, I moved to California because I was traveling and teaching, and I was traveling back and forth anyway, and just my business was expanding, though I felt that to expand my business, I needed a bigger audience, which I moved to California and lived there in 2010. And that was a leap of faith, and just really based on trust and faith and just following my heart, not knowing anyone, just go over and start afresh. And I lived there for 7 years, and had a couple of private practices, plus teaching workshops, and also I was working with a tech company in Silicon Valley for 5 years. And because I was moving so many times, I ended up moving to live in Silicon Valley because they wanted me more and more. So living in that area was interesting, and just seeing the
Mm.
stress. And because I'm an empath, I'm
Yeah.
highly sensitive, and I just felt like I was living under this dark cloud, based on fear and power and ego and money. And my work's always been heart-centered. And I was trying to shine my light to, to shift the energy.
Mm.
And by the end, when the company was, going down the tubes and it's no longer now, it's like I found myself exhausted and burnt out. So that's when I decided to move back to Australia. And in that process, um, that's when I really hit rock bottom and created the autoimmune and all the I really hit a low point of depression. And so physically, it was like I was at rock bottom, but I knew that I created it, I can uncreate it. And that
Yeah.
goes for any disease. It doesn't matter what the medical profession
Mm-hmm.
gives you as different labels. I never took the medication, much to my doctor's
Yeah.
disapproval. But with all my training, and I knew that I could heal my own body. But there was a part of me that created it because I just felt that I've always been the pioneer and no one was listening. I felt like I was just constantly banging my head on a brick wall and everyone would just go, "Oh, that's woo woo," or "You're from another planet," and I was always being judged and criticized. And it's like when I came back to Australia, I went, do I want to start all over again? And I was already exhausted, um and that's, yeah, when I consciously, and I was committing energetic suicide, and I take full responsibility. It's like everything we create in our body, we created.
Yeah.
It's not, it's like it's not about blaming things. It's like we are 100% responsible for everything that we put in our bodies,
That's right.
and food, drink, but also the thoughts
Yeah.
and the words that we speak about and the story. So it's linked into our mental health, plus our environment, plus the food and everything that we put in our body, but also how much do we love and accept ourselves. And that's when I was at rock bottom, I asked Spirit, okay, yep, I've I'm pretty much nearly, yeah, on my way out, but
Yeah.
okay, I've decided to stay and fulfill my contract because it was my spiritual teacher at the time who said, "Do you know who you are as a soul?" And I went, "Yeah, but I'm exhausted." And she said, "You are committing energetic suicide, and if you end this contract, the next contract will be 10 times worse." And I just went, "No." And that was my motivation to heal my body.
Mm.
And so in my discussion with the universe, spirit, whatever word you want to use,
Mm-hmm.
that's when I got the download of the BENN method, and which is balance, energy, nurture, and nourish. And I used that foundation, those tools, those principles, that methodology to heal my own body naturally. And that's what I now teach. And it's my coaching, my online courses, my programs, and the BENN Method Academy will be launched this year. So that it's using all my years of experience as well as first-hand tools I used in order to heal my own body.
Yeah,
And
there's so much there, but let's talk a little bit about repressed emotions and then about your BENN method because I love the four words. So I really want to sort of dive a little bit deeper into what those four words sort of mean and how people can help themselves with that. But you talked about really with all your cancer and all the disease was a lot of the repressed emotions. Really,
mm,
what would you say, and how damaging are people who repress their emotions, right? It's like so many people going through so much trauma, and we really push that down. And we don't want to think about it until we're forced to, whether it is an illness or, something that forces us to face and really to change a lot of what we didn't face in the past, because we can't do that as kids, right? So
Mm,
as adults,
mm.
how important is it to actually look at a lot of that trauma and do the work on yourself? How does that help you to be in better health?
Yeah, great question, because everything, it's like, as a soul, we come into these human bodies in order to learn and grow and upgrade our conscious human operating system. So on another level, we have agreed to have these significant emotional events, which are traumatic, which are really challenging. But in going through it and overcoming it, that makes our soul so much stronger. But our because we are all source energy, we are God in this physical body. And if we are not doing our inner work and listening to those messages, because in our auric field, we have several layers of our auric field. We are source energy. We've got constantly got energy flowing through us. And you would know this from being an
Mm,
acupuncturist. It's like
yeah,
the invisible lines through our body, which is the meridians and the chi.
yeah,
So that's constantly flowing through our body. But if we are like cutting ourselves off, which I also did and experience what happens, is we're not allowing, the universe could be screaming at us, but we're just caught up in our trauma story, victim story. They did this to me.
yeah,
Whereas when you really truly surrender and allow, and this is where the meditation comes in. I've been teaching meditation for a couple of decades, and it's all about just dropping into your heart space and listening to the divine message come through, and know that you are not alone, and that nobody is doing anything to you, because it's how you are reacting or responding to it. But what happens in the the human mind is creates all these emotions of anger and fear and sadness and hurt and shame and guilt, and they're all really low vibration, which keeps your energy vibration low.
yeah,
And that will affect every part, your immune system, your every organ, every system in your body will be affected if you're constantly thinking these thoughts. So any trauma, sure, it's horrific, but remember who you are as a soul, and remember that no one can hurt you, harm you, or destroy you. And it's the power that we all have. But when we came down to this dense earth and environment, it's like we chose to come and have these experiences. But in that reincarnation, it's like people forgot who they truly are as a soul. That's why when I'm working with my clients, it's really realigning them back to their soul and their true essence of who they are and their soul's mission. And so in regards to trauma, we've all had some kind of
yeah,
trauma. Everyone's had some kind of, dysfunctional family or childhood abuse or significant emotional events right throughout your life. And, even domestic violence is horrific as it is. But on some level, on your a soul level, you agree that I choose to experience this with this person in order to learn how powerful I am, or to stand up for myself, or to have clear boundaries, or what's the learning? Everything's a learning for our soul. And every relationship is a learning for us, whether whatever happens in that relationship, everyone is a mirror, and on some level, we've attracted them into our life in order for our soul to grow and learn.
That's beautiful. And it's so important because these days people are not connected. There's a lot of cognitive dissonance. Some people may not really truly understand the soul aspect, and that might be a different conversation for a different day. But just sort of in summary, like what does the BENN method entail? Because obviously with all of this experience, so many of your modalities, how important is it to really balance, energize, nurture, and nourish? What does that mean to you? And, in essence, what are you teaching clients in those sort of four, I guess, four teachings, really?
So those four, I mean, they're big
Yeah.
subjects because they cover
Yes, that's
so
right.
many areas of your life. Because what I realized is even when I was sick, my life was so unbalanced. I was
Yeah.
still flogging myself at the gym. I wasn't
Mm.
sleeping.
Wow.
And so I was having about 4 hours of sleep. But to get to sleep, I was taking sleeping tablets and then waking up. This is how imbalanced my nervous system was.
Yeah.
And so, and then because I was dealing with a lot of anger and not being able to sleep and just frustrated, it's like, right, as soon as the gym, opens and that 5:30 class, I'll go flog myself.
Yeah.
But instead of just doing one class, I'll do two classes. I
Yep.
already had chronic fatigue. I mean, any energy
Mm.
that I had, I would just beat myself up because I hated myself that much. And so I had no energy. But then the nurture and the nourish was me nurturing and nourishing myself. And that's what really the essence is for everybody, because we look at the conflict, or we look at everything that's going on in the world, and these nasty people, or the conflict, or the arguments, or these people projecting on each other. And it's like, um yes, it's not nice to be on the receiving end, or even to observe it, but on again, rise above it and look at it from a different perspective. They've just forgotten who they are, because everyone is love and light. But when we come to these dense environments, that's where everyone goes through these different experiences, and some people get stuck in that, and they get comfortable and they don't want to move out of that,
Mm.
and because it takes inner work. So this is where a lot of people are talking about, the split of the 3D and the 5D, but it's really about doing the inner work. And this is what the BENN method provides. It's the bridge, but you have to do the work. It's not about, no one
Quick
can do
fix.
this.
Yeah.
Like, I've been coaching people for years. I've been seeing clients, and it's like every single treatment, when I was just doing the body work and the healing, and I would give self-care exercises. This is your homework. And then clients that I take on, did you do your homework? And then it's like, oh no. And it's like, you know what?
Yeah.
It's like, this is a two-way,
Correct.
relationship here. I'm putting my heart and soul into helping you, but you need to do your bit. And that's the same with my coaching clients. If they're not putting in their effort, um,
Well, we
sorry,
have to
find
make,
someone
yeah,
else.
we have to do the change, right? You're only a guide, and like myself, we guide our clients. But if ultimately it's up to them to make the changes, to eat right, to do the self-care, to listen to their bodies. And that's another thing, right? So many people are disconnected. Like I said, they're not really in tuned with even the smallest little message that their body is telling them, and they're just pushing through, or they ignore it. It's like a flashing. If you're driving a car and your light is flashing, this big red light in front of you, just slap a band-aid over it, right? That's kind of like what a lot of people are doing these days, expecting to something to change within them, but not doing any of the work, on a physical, mental, emotional, or spiritual level. Yeah.
Well, and that's a society,
Yeah,
especially big pharma and all the pharmaceuticals. That's just the quick
that's
fix. A
it.
lot of people just want the quick fix, give me a sleeping pill, give me,
Yeah. So I can
a
escape the
coffee,
traumas, right? It's like they're
caffeine,
pushing.
give yeah,
Yeah.
the antidepressants,
Yes.
I don't, or and this is where, the whole all the drugs,
Yeah.
all these party drugs. It's like people want to
Yes.
feel good, so
They
they're
want to escape
taking
pain.
all these
Yeah.
drugs, but they're actually numbing out from who they truly are,
Mm.
and that's not the answer. And so it's, yeah, everyone, it's important for people to do their own inner work. And that's what I teach in the BENN Method, in my courses, in my programs, as well as my one-to-one coaching. And depending on how much support they need, it's like I hand hold them.
Yeah.
Or if they're doing an online course, it's like do the exercises, follow all the guided instructions, and and
You get the
then
results if you
miracles
do the
happen,
work. Exactly.
breakthroughs happen,
Yeah.
but it's the first step is everyone taking responsibility for their
Yeah.
own health and
Correct.
healing,
Yeah.
and also believing that they
They're
they
not.
are more powerful than they think they are.
Well, our bodies are basically made to heal ourselves. We're healing ourselves from things all the time. If you get a cut, I mean, your body's healing. I mean, you're not going to be bleeding out, right? We've got so many healing
Right?
powers. But when it
Yeah.
comes to the deeper work, we have to be willing to do the work and realize that we need to do the work. Some people keep pushing it down. And then when they're older, we see it. You've seen it. I've seen it. People get sick and we don't want to. Yours was a lot sooner. So you must have gone through a lot in your early years because most people see that stuff after a lifetime. But I guess with different people, the different traumas, it shows a lot sooner and how you push your body. So, I guess with your 30 years of experience in this field, what have been some of the key lessons? You've shared some already, but what are some of the key lessons that the listeners could really take away and what you've learned to create sort of lasting relationships and to really be optimal and healthy and in alignment to their higher soul's consciousness and what they're really here to do? And, I guess live a life that is healthy, happy, peaceful, in alignment. That's all everyone really wants, right?
I would say the key is keep tuning in to your heart. This goes for every choice that you make, will determine what the outcome is, because everyone has a choice. So when you make the choices that make you feel good, and feel strong, well, then you're guaranteed a positive outcome. And this goes for everything that you put in your body. So I teach muscle testing. And so every food, every drink, that you choose, I've always done this. Like, this is way before I studied nutrition, and I never liked meat. But growing up, we had, it was a meat and potato
Yeah.
and, veg, and we had to eat everything on the
Wow.
plate. So
Wow.
when I left home, it's like, don't like meat. I've
Hmm.
never liked it. and and so and then I learnt eat to your blood type,
Yeah.
and you did my own research, and going to a smorgasbord, if it was a carvery and all the carved meats, and it's like, yeah, and then the roast
Mm,
veggies, and then it's like, oh, hummus, veggies,
salad.
salads,
Yeah.
lentils. I was always drawn
Yeah.
to that kind of food just naturally. So over the years, it's like, this is even before, well, back then it was only soy milk was the
Only
option,
milk.
because
Yeah.
I knew that cow's milk never agreed with me. So the eating disorder started back when I was a teenager. And so this came from one of the events. My older sister kept telling me how fat and ugly I was,
Uh,
and calling me lots of names, and I feared, oh my God, if I'm so fat and ugly, I'm never going to get a boyfriend. So that means I have to be thin, but I was striving to try and have my family love me and accept me, because it was a pretty cruel upbringing.
mm,
And that's when the eating disorder started. And then once you start on that cycle, you're trying to break a really strong ingrained pattern and habit and destructive behavior, because I hated my body, I hated myself so much, and
yeah,
my self-worth was zilch. Um, and so this is all the healing that I've done over the
yeah,
years, to overcome that, and realize and learn, who I am as a soul. But going back to the choices that you make, you choose, well, do I choose to be around that group of people? Do I want to go to that party? Do they uplift me, or is it a party that is full of drugs and alcohol, and that's the
yeah,
environment? Do I want to put myself in that environment? um, and and this goes for pubs and places now. I'm highly sensitive. For me, I do not go to places like that, because it's such a low vibration. But um that we choose that what music we listen to, we choose what podcasts, or
yeah,
what we watch on YouTube or watch on TV. And is it full of drama and chaos, and does it keep you awake, and is it, horror movies? I mean, what
yeah,
choices do you make? But feel into how it's affecting your body. And so it's so much more than the physical. It's the emotional, it's the mental, it's the energetic, it's the spiritual. How does everything feel? Even a phone conversation, how do you feel? You
tough
can
to
make
say,
a
yeah,
choice before you pick up the phone. If you can see, do I choose to have this conversation right now? And it's like you have a choice. And this goes back to, having boundaries, and you don't have to keep saying yes to everybody. So that's probably the most important key factor for everyone, because the only difference between us and everyone else out there is the choices that we make. And from the choices that we make will completely change our life, our reality, and everything that we um, experience in our body. One of the things I've been experimenting on my body is, this water. It's golden drops, it's curcumin. And so I like to test different products in my body, and because I'm pretty healthy, it's like, oh, I'll give it a go. But after 1 month of being on this, I've noticed my fingernails are so strong and growing rapidly. I'm constantly like filing them down. And so it's like we are in control of our own health and our
yeah,
own healing. But our nails, our skin, and our hair is like the last thing. It's like, if your immune system's struggling, you're going to catch a cold or a virus or whatever's going around. But again, we're responsible for keeping our immune system strong. So what I'm experiencing with taking the curcumin, the golden drops, is that, wow, my fingernails are just rapidly growing, and I haven't experienced that with other products. I've been taking
mm,
turmeric for years, but yeah, that's something that you can do to enhance, because there's so many new viruses and new
yeah,
things that are coming out in our environment. EMFs, the 5G, there's a lot of controversial stuff that they're putting in our air, in
Yes.
the our water. And so how we can strengthen our own body and our immune system and our health is to take things to help to support our body, but also to do our own inner work and protection on a daily basis, and know that nothing and no one can hurt you, harm you, or destroy you. We are protected. The universe has our back. We are always protected and safe everywhere we go. But if you have a thought of fear, well, then that's where you may attract,
More
the
of the same.
abusive
Yeah.
person, or that unpleasant event in your life, because you're putting that fear out there. And that's how, rapists, uh, rape and domestic violence, or if you're going, people can pick your energy, and they can feel your energy as soon as you walk in the room. So our job is to keep our energy protected, keep ourselves strong and protected, keep grounded. And especially right now, there is so much chaos and drama
Yeah.
and turmoil going on in the world. It's important to keep grounding every day. And so a few, I'll just share some daily practices for your
Sure. Yeah, I was
audience.
going to ask that. So, what is, yeah, some last sort of self-care practices and advice that might, the listeners could take away? That would be amazing.
Definitely. So meditating, and even if it's, you start with 5 minutes, time
Yeah.
it on your phone,
Yeah.
and then go 10 minutes, and see if you can, you know, sh- just keep extending the time, but see how long it takes you to just keep dropping in and stopping that chitter chatter in your mind. Going out and standing bare feet on the grass.
Yeah.
Um, Anywhere in nature. I love, walking on the
The beach.
beach,
Beautiful.
walking in the ocean, swimming in the ocean. The salt water, it's so cleansing for
Yeah.
our body, for our mind. It's very nurturing. But if you're not at the ocean, stand on the grass, stand on the earth, and just feel the earth energy come up through the soles of your feet, because we have little spinning chakras at the soles of our
Hmm.
feet.
Yeah.
We are the conduit between heaven and earth. So we have the cosmic energy, the universal energy. We are source energy that's
Yeah.
flowing through us. Then we have a grounding cord at the base of our spine going down into the earth. Wrap it around the core of the earth and make sure you're really grounded. But go out in nature and connect with the trees, connect and stop,
Yeah.
and maybe, and do a digital detox. Go for a walk in nature. Just be there with the birds, with
Yeah. Leave your phone in the car. Yeah.
the butterflies, with whatever the insects are, or the other critters. It's like, then you become more in tune and in alignment with your heart, with your soul, but more harmonious. And the more you can just do a lot of deep breathing as well. So just say you're hiking, and you're hiking up a hill. It's like the breath and the movement and everything is helping every cell in your body, because you're surrounded with nature. And just quietening that mind,
Yeah.
and book stillness meetings with yourself.
That's great.
Just
Great
block
advice.
out time.
Yeah.
And if you're going through a lot of upset or turmoil or whatever in your life, do it several times during the day. And so one of my clients, she said she's got back-to-back meetings, and it's like 4 hours in a row. And I went, well, stop the meeting 5 minutes before the next one, and go to the bathroom, grab some water, do what you need to do, but just go and stand on the grass, even if it's for 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Close your eyes and just release. And the mantra I teach is I release, I surrender, I let go. And this came to me when I lived in Silicon Valley, because I could see they were going from meeting to meeting, and it's
Yeah.
like they were deer in headlights. And I'd
Yeah.
go to the bathroom and just close your eyes and just keeps repeating this mantra, and and that is what helped keep the
Wow.
sanity
Yes.
for many of them. And you've got to find different daily practices that suit
Yeah.
your lifestyle,
Yes.
and your family, and your schedule. So
But I'm sure
these
everyone can really find what's 5 minutes. If you can't find 5, 10 minutes to go to your backyard, or maybe just even, find a spot on the floor, or even just close your eyes and take a few deep breaths. Like I get clients to meditate and I don't have time. Well, if you can't find 5 minutes or 10 minutes in a day, there's something seriously wrong with your schedule, right? You're doing all the unimportant things, whereas this is going to help you in the long run. Yeah.
and And if we keep ignoring those messages, that's what will end up with burnout or
Yeah.
illness or other diseases, because the universe is constantly communicating with us. But if we keep ignoring those messages, then it's like it hits the emotional layer of our aura, and then we could feel a bit emotional, especially right now with the planets are doing
Yeah.
everything. We're in a lot of emotion, a lot of water, Cancer, the moon. And
Yeah.
but then when it hits the physical body, this is where people will go, oh, I've got the flu, or I'm sick with this, and they're forced to be in bed for
Yes. A week or
so
so.
much
Yeah.
time in order to heal, because in that time, that gives them time to stop from the external world and
Yes.
go within and meditate. While they're
Yeah.
resting and recovering, it's like they've got time to just stop from the crazy
Mm,
schedule
yeah.
and recover. And in that time, they're receiving a lot of clarity and a lot of ideas and insights coming through during that quiet time. And if they keep ignoring that, then the illness or disease will get worse if they keep ignoring
Yeah.
all the signs. Our body is, and the universe, the body is the barometer of the soul. So the universe is constantly giving us messages, and this is through meditation, we will receive those downloads and those messages and those ahas, and or keep a dream journal. Keep a record of your dreams,
Mm,
because there's powerful messages there. Highly recommend journaling on a daily basis, and also gratitude. Gratitude
yeah.
is the biggest stress reduction tool.
Yeah.
Um,
True.
and I like to say, write out 10 things, or even just three.
Free. Yeah.
Three things. And even if you're struggling to find those three things, like, I woke up today and I'm breathing.
Yeah.
Thank you. I've got fresh water to drink. I
Yes.
have a shower. I've got, a bed to sleep in, a roof over my head. I've got food
Yeah.
in the fridge, just bring it back to basics, because
Yeah.
we have so much to be grateful
Grateful.
for.
We are.
And really, in reality, we live in such a beautiful planet. Doesn't matter which
Yes.
country
Yeah.
you live in. If you walk outside, there is always beauty that you can find.
Amazing.
And
Yes. It's looking for the
it's a
small things. Yeah. You have to be aware, and you have to, yeah, thank nature and be grateful each and every day you're alive. So, Linda, we could talk for ages. You've given the listeners so much already, and such great, if you haven't heard a lot of this sort of concepts or ideas, like, I urge you to get in touch with Linda. We'll put her details in the links. But I hope you enjoyed today's episode. We can keep talking for hours. I might get Linda back at some point because she's got so much wisdom and knowledge to share. So thank you so much, Linda, for coming on. You've given so much of your generous time and experience already, and I'm sure everyone got so much out of it. So thank you so much for coming on. And
pleasure. Thanks,
yes, we'll
Sally.
see you on again next time, hopefully.
Excellent. Bye, everyone.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you for tuning in to the Holistic Health and Hormones podcast. If you found today's episode inspiring or informative, please don't forget to subscribe and leave us a review. It will help us reach more people just like you who are on their journey to vibrant health and balance. For more tips, resources, or to work with me, please visit my website or connect with me on socials. And remember, your health is your superpower. So keep nurturing it, and I'll see you next time.